You will never again see a tweet from President Trump. A short time ago, the company suspended him forever. Here's what his account looks like right now. 88 million people following, nothing. Everything he's ever tweeted or retweeted, removed. The company issued a statement explaining the decision was made due to the risk of further incitement of violence, following a review of recent tweets from the president. One of those tweets announced that he will not attend Joe Biden's inauguration. The other called his voters great patriots. Twitter sees both of those tweets as likely to replicate the criminal acts that took place on Capitol Hill. The suspension on Twitter, just the latest blow to a president facing growing calls to step down and threats to throw him out. Even the Wall Street Journal conservative editorial board saying it is best for everyone, himself included, if he goes away quietly. A rebuke in a paper owned by Rupert Murdoch, the founder of Fox News. In the last 72 hours, a wave of administration officials has stepped down. The departures, symbolic gestures largely for many who had stood by and defended the president throughout his term. Among them, the Education Secretary, Betsy DeVos, the Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, and former Acting Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney. NBC News reports his close aide, Hope Hicks, also resigning next week, but that her decision was planned before Wednesday's assault on democracy. CNBC's Kayla Tausche live in Washington. Kayla, how's the White House responding to calls to remove the president?
Well, Shep, the White House says the president is determined to serve out the remainder of his term. Spokesman Judd Deere issuing a statement that says this, saying, quote, as President Trump said yesterday, this is a time for healing and unity as one nation. A politically motivated impeachment against a president with 12 days remaining in his term will only serve to further divide our great country. No response to questions about the calls for his resignation. But the president's move toward unity will stop just short of inauguration. He has said he will not attend the inaugural ceremonies of his successor, incoming President Joe Biden, becoming just the fourth president in history to do so. The first since Andrew Johnson refused to attend the ceremonies of Ulysses S. Grant in 1869. As for other attendees, Biden said he'd welcome the attendance of Vice President Mike Pence. A spokesperson for Pence said he hasn't made a decision yet on going. Former Presidents Barack Obama, George Bush, and Bill Clinton are also planning to attend, as are former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and former House Speaker Paul Ryan. Former President Jimmy Carter, who is in his late 90s, will be the only living president absent besides Trump. And I believe we have that comment from the president-elect Joe Biden, where he weighed in on Trump's attendance earlier today.
One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up. He's exceeded even my worst notions about him. He's been an embarrassment to the country, embarrassed us around the world. Not worthy to hold that office.
Shortly after those remarks, the president-elect was asked by reporters whether he felt safe with the inauguration as planned. After this week's siege on the Capitol and new right-wing threats emerging, he said he did feel confident in the ceremonies because it is going to be run by a different entity, the U.S. Secret Service, and not the Capitol Police. Shep?
Anything from inside the White House on how he's reacting to basically having his voice silenced?
Well, he certainly wasn't happy about having his voice silenced even temporarily earlier this week, and was chomping at the bit to get back on Twitter and issue some of those messages after the temporary suspension following the events at the Capitol on Wednesday. He certainly can't be happy, and already officials from his 2020 campaign are saying that this effectively silences the voices of the 75 million people who voted for him in this election. Certainly that is going to be an argument that you hear from many in his camp in the coming days. And Shep, based on the way he's reacted and how his camp has reacted to a lot of these actions in the past, it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to see legal action follow this as well.